Okay, I'm going to talk about resizing images for the web, and I'm going to be using Adobe Photoshop for this exercise, but you can use other programs as well. It's very quick and easy in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Often you will be asked to make a graphic for a website. You may not be doing the whole website, but you may be asked to make a graphic for the website. And what you really need to ask that person, and they don't always tell you this, is the exact width and height in pixels that they need that image to be. And it's got to be at least 72 dpi. You can go over because it always can be resized down, but you want to know the exact pixel dimensions of width and height. The reason why is many times it's something like a slideshow. So on the Dramatic Arts homepage for Los Medanos College, there's a slideshow. And you'll notice that each one of these images are exactly the same width and height. If they were not, then the text on this would be jumping up and down, there'd be some awkward space around it, and it would be a bit jarring. So also keep in mind the orientation of the image. If it's not exactly square, or you don't want to supply a portrait picture when a landscape picture is what you need it to be. So say I wanted to add an image into this slideshow. So let me go on over to Photoshop and show you my adorable little picture of my dog Robert running towards me. So this was actually an excuse just to show you a picture of my dog. But if I go up to Image, up at the top there's a drop down menu. It's off the screen but you can't see it too well. But off the top of the screen it says Image, and I go down to Image Size. I'll look at it and it's quite large. It's over 1,000 pixels wide by 800 pixels tall, 829 pixels, and the resolution is 300 dpi. So I know that's too big, but I need to resize it, but I also don't know if it's proportionally correct either. So if I go back over to the website, a very easy way to do this, and I think probably the easiest way to do this, rather than having to ask them because they might not know themselves what the width and height is supposed to be, all you have to do is control click or right click depending on your operating system. And you'll usually see something like copy image or save or copy image address. And then you could paste it into a new window and copy that image. However it is, you want to copy that image into the clipboard. So usually you'll get that pop-up window, a pop-up menu, and just say copy image. That's all you have to do. You don't need to write down any numbers. Then when you go back over to Photoshop and go up to File at the top of the screen, very top of the screen, and say File and New, like you're making a new document. Right in that window, it will take the measurements from the clipboard. And it's there for you. It's 600 pixels wide by 350 pixels tall, and it's 72 dpi. That's all you need to do, and you have the right file dimensions. Just click OK, and already you have a blank document sized the way you need it to be. So the next thing you need to do is, I clicked over. Next thing you need to do is click to the file that has your image, which is over here. Here's Robert running. So if it's not already selected, you just go up to Select and select All, which is Command A or Control A, and it selects all. And you're going to press Command C or Control C on your keyboard to copy it. So now you've copied that into the clipboard. And just go over to that untitled document that you just made, and you're going to paste it in. So just paste it into that window, and you will see that it's actually quite large. So I'm only seeing the top corner of that document or that picture that I pasted in there because, as you recall, it was over 1,000 pixels wide, and it was at 300 dpi, so a lot of pixels in that image. So what you want to do is you want to click onto that top tool in the upper right hand corner, which I think is called the Move tool. Yep, if I click and hold on it, I get it. And you're going to transform this this image. So you can press Command T on your keyboard or Control T, or you can go up to the Edit menu and you can choose Transform Scale. And what that does is it brings up these little anchor points. And you can click in the center and kind of move it off to the side. But see, you're seeing a little window of that image. So, and then you can bring your cursor over to the edge and hold down the shift key as you drag it down into the window area. And you're going to have to do this several times because the picture that I chose is really large. And just do this until you get that image into the window that you need it to be. I'm going to do it several times. I'm going to shift and hold it down. And what I'm doing is I'm just resizing that image on down. The reason I'm holding that shift as I am clicking and dragging is I don't want to skew that image at all. Because if I did not hold down the shift key, then that image is going to be stretched. So as you can see, he's starting to get there. Because again, if I did not hold down the shift and then did this, you can see he looks like he's at the end of some spaghetti western or something. So I'm going to undo that, hold down the shift key. I'm starting to get there, and I'm just going to drag it down into that window. I'm coming from the far edge of the corner diagonally in. So I can just size it about where I want it to be. And as you can see, the shape of that image that I'm going into is slightly narrower. So some of this image is going to be cropped, but it's not too bad. So his hair is going to be slightly cropped, it looks like. So, but I want to see all of my cute little dog. So that means there's going to be a little bit of white on either side of this image. To execute it, to say, yes, this is what I want, I'm just going to either double click in the center of this image, or I'm going to hit return to execute this. So now I have it, but if I save this off, I'm going to have white on either side of this image. And that's not so great. So you have to kind of figure out whether the image you use will work in that particular width and height dimension, or whether you need to kind of crop in on whatever you're looking at. So in this case, I could crop in on his face, but since this is just a pattern over in the side, I know I can fix this by choosing the rectangular selection tool and highlighting this part right here. And there is a little trick I can do by going up to Edit at the top of this page, and I'm going to say Fill, and I'm going to choose Content Aware, and hopefully this will work. So what that does is it looks at the adjacent pixels that are there, and if it's a solid color or a pattern, it tends to work pretty good. I'm going to do it again over here. And Edit. And Fill. And again, I'm choosing Content Aware and Fill. And there you go. Deselect. Yeah, not too bad. So if I want, I can go in and do just a little bit of clone stamp cleanup on this particular area, but now I could potentially hijack the drama website and put in a picture of my fluffy little dog. So what the last step you're going to do is you're going to go up to File, and you're going to export this and save for web. You don't want to do save as. The best way to do it is to go to Export, Save for Web. And I know it says legacy, but it's actually the best compression for speed and quality. So File, Save for Web, and then a pop-up window comes up, and then you'll get some options, and you can choose the amount of compression you want to do. High tends to be pretty good most of the time, so that's what I go with. Or if I only have one image and I want it to be really showy, sometimes I keep that at maximum. But you want to double check down here in the lower left hand corner that you do have a pretty good file size. 54K is not that bad. Ideally you'd like it like around 30, but then you also sacrifice quality. So it is a balancing act between the two. And just save that off, and that should work just fine in that slideshow. So again, if you want to save something and you don't know what the size are, but there's ones on the web that you can choose, right click on whatever that image is. Say it's a grid row of, thumbnails of a bunch of headshots, and you want them to all exactly be the same size for neatness and consistency. Then just right click on or control click on that image, either one, and copy, and then go over to Photoshop, say new, and the width and height will be right in there for you.